So here's an update on the Lusso I'm working on. I got the interior all laid out all over the shop. The owner was complaining about how the seats felt kind of, you know, they didn't feel supportive enough. The Ferrari seats are pretty nice buckets. They have this really nice seat shape to them. Really kind of a good looking seat. But you know, my complaints about it is that it's a fixed bucket, so it doesn't have any recline. But you know, they're comfortable. I mean, they certainly have a certain amount of rake. They're not like a race bucket, which is a 90-degree rake to it. This is still you know, has a certain amount of recline, so it's not bad. But when I pulled the seat out and I flipped it over, especially the driver's seat, well, there's your problem right there. All the straps have gotten old and dry rotted and literally like just completely sagged out. So when you sit in this bucket, your butt is literally on the floor. So I'm gonna fix this. I think I'm gonna do it myself. You know, I've done some upholstery work. I certainly, it's just a matter of replacing the straps, hog ringing them in. I'll have to figure out how to secure them from the backside here. There's a rod here that you can wrap around. I'm gonna take these hog rings out, pull that back, and reattach. There should be something here, I can feel it, that these straps are attached to. It's just a matter of getting some straps. I got hog ring pliers somewhere. I'll have to go find them in my toolbox and get to work. But sometimes it's easier to do this myself as opposed to sending it out, just simply because the time it takes for me to run it to the upholster, wait for him to do it, bring it back to me, and then reinstall in the car. It's here, so I can spend a day to just do upholstery work as opposed to spending the day or half a day delivering the car, delivering the seats, coming back, all that other stuff. It's just lost time. So it's a project that they're going to take on. Well, we made some progress on one of the seats. I restrung it. You can really see the difference between, you know, what it was. These are hard as a rock, with you know, some of them have ripped and torn. What I did here was I got new material. So I got the new webbing. This is the same stuff that was original, and put it in here. I had to take the seat apart a little bit just so I can nail these pieces to here on the other side. So partially disassembled the seat and put in webbing. I also, although, yeah, I think I've added a couple more, because across here there's just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've added 6, you know, double the amount of cross webbing, just simply because I think it helps a little bit more support, and you know, gives you, I think that's another reason why these are just kind of sagging. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't help that they got dry rotted and there really is no elasticity. You can literally see how hard and brittle this rubber has become. You know, the new stuff is so much more pliable, but at the same time, you know, putting a little bit of extra padding in or extra strapping in here really, I think, will help, you know, the longevity of this seat. You know, the strings here are really to hold the pleat. See if I can, well, let me turn this thing around and I'll show you what the strings are. The strings basically pull these down so that the center has this pleat. All these cars have this, you know, it's kind of like a tuck or a pull, and what that does is these strings here are attached to a rod on the inside that's sewn into the leather. They haven't popped, but on the old one the strings kind of broke here, and I had to catch the knot on the other side and was able to just catch it and pull it and restring it. If they had actually pulled off the leather attachment, we would have been in even more trouble, but was able to catch it, put a new string in it, and then pull it tight. So now we can keep this thing, this pleat in here, and then as I stapled or hog ringed everything back together, it has the right seat. Now it doesn't, you know, when you sit in the seat, it doesn't turn into this like really big hole. As you can see, even though this is the right seat and probably not as much passenger, you know, sitting in it, but when you look at the height of this thing, how much it's stretched, you know, here you're practically, your butt is almost on the floor. So with this whole thing redone, it'll be a lot more comfortable. So we're getting there. The problem is, because I've used so much of this material to double the amount of strapping, I'm going to have to get another roll of this webbing. This is the problem with me not doing this for a living, is that I don't have this stuff in stock. So gonna have to make another order for another roll of this stuff. So you know, just a little bit of a delay, but you know, making progress. And you know, it's kind of fun. I mean, I've done upholstery before, so it's kind of like, you know, revisiting and learning how to do it again, or just you know, digging back deep into my knowledge of upholstery, just to keep it all in house. So you know, we'll order some more strapping and finish this little project up. Well, I got another roll of strapping material, so I can continue working. So let's see, this is the next day, and I'm going to start putting in the extra, or the side pieces to go across here. So now, I admit, this is not my normal stuff. I don't normally do upholstery. I've done enough of it to know how, but for any of these professional upholstery guys watching me, don't judge, because I don't do this every day. But anyway, so years ago, when I first got my car, I was waiting for my upholsterer to reupholster the seats in my car, and you know, he kept doing the, you know, next week, you know, call me in a week, because he would be very busy. You know, every time I'd call him, I'd say, hey Frank, just calling you to see, you know, if you're ready to take my interior. I was getting ready to do it, and he'd say, oh yeah, call me next week. And then I'd call him the following week, and he'd say, yeah, just got busy, I gotta work, got a job going ahead, and it's just, you know, been really busy down here, so call me next week. So he did that for a while, and I'm sure anybody who's had, you know, a specialist or somebody doing work on their car, they've had that runaround, and they just feel like, Jesus, am I ever gonna get this car done? I said, what if I came down and put a couple hours of work? I mean, even if I put a full day's work in, and I swept your floors, and I organized your shop, or I answered your phones, I said, I'd be willing to put in, you know, a full day of work if you would just put an hour in on my interior. I mean, it's like, or I could do the dirty work on the interior. I could strip it. I could do whatever you want to do. I mean, just utilize me for however much you want to utilize me, because I'm willing to trade you for those hours. He said, you know what, just come on down. I mean, I don't know if it was too pushy or whatever it was. He said, come on down. So I started I went down there on my Friday's day off that I was getting to work on my car. And, you know, just went in there and says, okay, well, first thing I need to do is I need you to clear out a space so you can put all this stuff and break it all down. So let's start there. He said, why don't you start by clearing out a space for your car? I mean, you know, clean up this workbench, put this stuff away. We'll get this stuff cleaned out, and that way we can at least take your interior apart and have an idea of what we need to do. I said, okay. So I cleared out the workbench, put stuff away, threw things away that were garbage, separated the stuff that was good and bad, and you know, asked, what do I want to do with this? What do you want me to do with this? I'll throw it out. You know, do this, do that. And you know, within an hour or so, I had a nice workbench straightened out, ready to go, and my interior kind of separated out. Why don't you just go ahead and start taking this apart? So he showed me how to take my interior apart, what parts, what stitches to take apart, how to cut the leather off, you know, how to remove it, you know, all those kind of things. And so then I did that. And once I did that, we did the next step. And it was like, next thing you know, I had my interior apart. And when I had my interior apart, then he would say, okay, well, now that we got that apart, let's do this. And so each step of the way, you know, he would stop what he was doing, you know, give me some time, and I would do the rest of the work. And you know, as I accomplished each step, I started to feel like I was making some progress in my interior. I felt like, okay, well, you know, he's still working on his side of the shop. He was doing his thing. I was doing my thing. And we were getting it done. So it actually started to work out really well. And I think I also proved to him that I could do it. I mean, you know, without hurting myself with knives and cutoffs and all that other stuff and clippers and all that other things that were involved with upholstery. And so that's how we started working together, is that I you know, kind of said, I'll do whatever I can do and you tell me whether or not I can do it. And I started to learn about upholstery. And so as time went on, you know, my interior just started to come together. And he showed me from there. We took all the leather off. We took all the stitches out, because on a Ferrari interior, it's all custom made. So what you have to do is you have to take the old covers off and you have to make new ones. So you have to take the old ones as patterns, take notes on the way it fit on the seats, and try to figure out what broke or what isn't broken and what needs to be repaired. And then from there, you basically generate a new interior by using the patterns from the old one. I learned a lot about that, and just every step of the way, just another learning experience. It was pretty cool. You know, it was a process that I learned how to do interiors, and learned a ton of stuff that helped me understand. It wasn't like I wanted to become an upholsterer, because I'll tell you, just even the working on this right now, my hands are really tired. I go home after a day of doing this stuff, and admittedly, it's really just you're trying to get your muscles to work the way that you're supposed to. I mean, there's a lot of hand strength that's required to do upholstery work, especially leather upholstery work. Okay, so what I did was I pulled those strings through. I put a steel rod in here because that won't pull through. I've tied the knots so that it's tight. So now this pleat stays nice and sharp, doesn't pull, all right? And then what I did was tie the knot, and then as a little safety precaution, I crazy glued the knots together. That way it won't back out. I mean, I know there's different types of cord that you can use that would probably not come undone. But you know, again, I don't do this. I don't know if I have to research it, find out which one I need. So the easier thing is just to use this cord that I know is strong enough, but could be slippery and may come undone. So the way I do it is tie, you know, as they say, if you don't know how to tie a knot, tie a lot. And then what I did was I glued the ends together, so that way it will actually it'll stay. I believe, I hope. Anyway, so now the final step is just to reattach. Oh, I think I missed it. Oh no, I did. I got it. Barely. Is to reattach the leather to the bottom here, which, you know, I think there's better hog ring pliers with right angles. Probably get a better grip at it, but I think I can make do here. It's just really about grabbing right there, and you grab that little bit of material, and that'll hold this, and then we'll grab that. Pull this tight. It's funny, every time I work with leather, I remember the first time I worked at Frank's shop, and I was doing my interior, and he was laying out the leather, and we were talking about trying to find the best place for you know, to cut the leather, and we talked about finding scars, and then all of a sudden it became obvious. I mean, it was one of these stupid revelations that you just didn't spend much time thinking about it. But like, leather is skin. Leather is, you know, it's the skin of a cow. And as you're working on it, it's like it can freak you out a little bit, or at least it did for a little bit for me. It's just always been kind of funny as you look really close. You know, you work with leather like this closely, and you're looking at stuff, and you're basically looking at the skin and the history of a cow. Like if he walked through a barbed wire fence, or his skin is going to show that damage, and you're going to see it in the skin, and you know, when you put it all back together and you have this seat, it's like this is the skin of a cow, you know, that's sitting here. But pretty amazing material. You know, it's one of these things where it's really has it's got a really wonderful feel to your hands and all that stuff. But it's kind of funny. It's like at the end of the day, it's still skin. But anyway, I'm not trying to get into, like, you know, whether you believe in killing cows and all that other stuff, or doing this stuff, but you know, leather is leather. That's what they used on these cars, so I'm just placing it. But anyway, so that's done. So now I got both seats done. They're both you know, much more supportive, and you know, they're gonna do a lot better job than what they did before. I was thinking about taking this little wrinkle out here, but the problem with it is that the leather has kind of already taken a set, and I think that it's no matter how much you pull on it this way, it may just wanna lay like that. So I didn't really try to do it, but that's just kind of nitpicking a little bit. I think the seat looks much better than it did. It's certainly going to be a lot more supportive, and we're ready to put these back in the car. So anyway, that's the repair of the seat, and you know, thanks for watching.